All right, so get ready. We're diving deep into the Phantom of Kakariko,
Ooh,
a
interesting.
fan fiction story. It's written by, let me see, Ramenko,
All right.
and takes place after Tears of the Kingdom.
I like where this is going.
Yeah, so, we're dealing with familiar characters, Link, Zelda,
Uh-huh.
but this one really focuses on Paya and her feelings for Link.
Okay, so kind of a love story then.
Well, you could say that, but it's definitely not your typical romance.
Okay.
You ready to explore some seriously dark themes here?
Absolutely, yeah. This story by Ramenko really gets into some heavy stuff like obsession, betrayal,
Yeah.
the destructive power of unrequited love. It's like it takes these familiar characters we know, from the Zelda universe
Wow,
and
yeah.
just puts them through the ringer, emotionally.
Yeah, before we get into all that, remind them what Hyrule's like after Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, of course. So imagine like Hyrule, but it's still scarred from everything that happened.
Right.
Ganondorf's rampage. It's a place where even the heroes are still carrying all this baggage.
Yeah.
Like they're still dealing with the trauma.
Right.
And then Ramenko's story comes in and it's like, throws more on that fire, explores those anxieties and shows how darkness can like fester in the hearts of, even people we think of as good.
Yeah, and at the heart of this darkness is Paya.
Right, exactly.
She's our phantom.
Yeah. In the game, she's like this sweet, kind of shy character, super devoted to Princess Zelda.
Yeah, right.
But then Ramenko takes that, that base and just twists it,
Oh, yeah.
like showing us what could happen if, devotion becomes obsession.
Yeah, and that's where the diary entries come in. They're so important for understanding, like, how she changes.
Absolutely, yeah. Right from the start, Ramenko gives us like access to Paya's inner world through these super personal diary entries. We
Yeah.
see her struggling with her feelings for Link, her envy of Zelda. It's all written in this, raw confessional style. It's
Yeah.
like we're peeking into her soul as it unravels.
So the story begins in Kakariko Village, which should be pretty familiar to anyone who's played Tears of the Kingdom. What's the vibe like at the beginning?
It's almost like deceptively peaceful.
Okay.
Life in Kakariko seems to be, getting back to normal after all the craziness. But through Paya's diary entries, we know there's like a storm brewing.
Yeah.
Underneath, her love for Link, it's eating away at her.
Right.
And those feelings, they just get stronger when Link comes back from another adventure.
And he's not alone this time, right? He's with Zelda.
Exactly, yeah. And that's like throwing fuel on the fire.
Talk about adding to the drama.
Totally. Link coming back with Zelda, it triggers all these negative emotions in Paya. Her diary entries become even more, desperate, obsessive.
Yeah.
We see, little bits of resentment towards Zelda, hints of jealousy.
Yeah.
And it's sad because, you can sense that Paya knows she's going down a bad path, but she just can't stop herself.
So walk me through some of those early interactions between Paya and Zelda. Like, what are they like?
Well, there's this one scene where Zelda and Link, they visit Kakariko Village. It's supposed to be this, happy occasion.
Right.
But for Paya, it's just torture.
Yeah.
She even writes that she feels like physically sick being near Zelda.
Wow.
Ramenko really captures that simmering resentment.
Yeah.
How envy can just like twist even the most innocent interactions.
And what about Zelda? Does she pick up on any of this tension?
No, not at all. Being Zelda, she's totally oblivious.
Of course.
She treats Paya with, kindness and warmth.
Right.
Which, of course, just makes things worse for Paya.
Yeah.
She sees Zelda's genuine affection as a threat.
Right.
Like another reminder of everything she can't have.
So Paya's trapped in this cycle of longing and resentment. Where does this obsession lead her?
She starts to withdraw, spending more and more time alone, lost in like her own little world.
Okay.
And it's in those fantasies that we see the seeds of her darker impulses, start to take root. She starts writing these elaborate stories where Zelda doesn't exist, where she and Link are together, like they get their happily ever after.
It's like she's trying to rewrite reality.
Exactly. And at first it seems, harmless.
Right.
Almost like a way to cope.
Yeah.
But as the story goes on, these fantasies get, darker, more twisted.
Yeah.
It's a sign that Paya's losing her grip on, what's real.
Right. Blurring those lines.
Exactly.
Okay, so we have this intense emotional backdrop.
Yeah.
Paya's spiraling into obsession, and then things take a huge turn when she finds a forbidden Sheikah ritual. Tell us about that.
This is a big moment in the story. Paya stumbles upon this old text, and it describes a ritual that can, like, manipulate fate.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's powerful, dangerous magic, the kind of thing even the Sheikah thought was taboo.
And of course, Paya decides to use it.
Well, yeah, she sees it as a way to get what she wants, to get Zelda out of the picture and to, finally be with Link.
So it's a decision born from desperation and delusion. And that sets off a chain of events with some serious consequences.
Yeah.
So she comes up with this plan to lure Zelda away.
Right.
So Zelda, trusting as ever, walks right into the trap.
And this is where Ramenko's writing really shines. The scene in Faron Woods is, like, super tense.
Okay.
You can feel this storm coming, this sense of dread as Paya gets ready to do the ritual. And when Zelda shows up, it's brutal.
Oh, no.
Paya blinds her as part of the ritual, and then Zelda's gone.
Just like that. Gone without a trace.
Completely gone. It's a disappearance that shocks all of Hyrule. Link is devastated, consumed by guilt and grief, and he vows to find Zelda no matter what.
Right.
But for Paya, Zelda vanishing is like this, twisted victory.
Yeah.
She finally got rid of the obstacle between her and Link.
Chilling. And then the story jumps forward several years.
Yeah, we get this big-time skip.
Okay.
Which is, like, a really smart choice by Ramenko.
Yeah.
It lets us feel the weight of Zelda's absence, how it's changed Hyrule, and especially Link.
Right.
He's become a shell of his former self, haunted by, not being able to protect Zelda, constantly searching for any sign of her.
And this whole time, Paya's watching, waiting.
Yeah.
What's she been up to during all these years?
On the surface, she's taken on the role of village chief, doing her duties, but, like, efficiently, but sadly. But underneath, her obsession with Link, it hasn't gone away.
No.
It's just gotten worse, stronger. And with Zelda gone, Paya sees a chance.
To make her move.
Yeah, and that chance comes during, like, a Hyrule festival.
Okay.
Paya, after all these years of, waiting, she invites Link to dinner.
Oh, wow.
And remember, she's not, that shy, awkward girl from Tears of the Kingdom anymore.
Right.
She's grown up, she's more confident, even, like, her clothes are different.
So she's not exactly being subtle about her intentions.
Not at all. Ramenko writes this dinner scene with so much tension.
Yeah.
Like, you can practically hear the unspoken words between them.
Right.
She's dropping hints, testing the waters, trying to figure out how he feels.
Are there any lines from that scene that really stick out?
Oh, yeah. There's one where Paya asks Link, "Do you ever wish for something beyond duty and customs?"
Ooh, interesting.
It seems like an innocent question, but the way Ramenko writes it, you can hear all these layers of meaning.
Right.
Paya's longing for something more with Link is, like, palpable.
And Link, how does he react to all this?
Link, poor Link, he's clueless.
Oh, Link.
He's still so wrapped up in grief over Zelda that he doesn't even notice Paya's advances.
Yeah.
He answers her politely, but his mind is somewhere else. It's like a painful reminder of the distance between them.
So the dinner ends, and I'm guessing things aren't exactly resolved.
Paya, feeling bolder after the evening and, like, time is running out, decides to take a risk. She confesses her feelings to Link. She tells him that she's loved him for years.
Whoa, she puts it all out there. What does Link say?
He's totally shocked. Remember, he's still in love with Zelda.
Right.
And while he cares about Paya, it's not romantic.
Right.
He tries to let her down easy, but Paya, she's so emotionally fragile that she misunderstands his kindness.
This isn't going well.
It's not good. Paya's unrequited love, all those years of bottled up feelings, plus the rejection, it turns into something dark, dangerous.
Right.
She lashes out at Link, accuses him of being blind, of not seeing the love right in front of him.
And Link, how does he handle this sudden change?
He's confused, hurt, and honestly a little scared. He tries to talk to her, but it's like she's not even listening.
Yeah.
Her words are getting more erratic. She's losing touch with reality.
It's a standoff. What breaks the tension?
Link, in a moment of desperation, spots something familiar in Paya's stuff. Zelda's secret stone of time. And he realizes, with this horrible sinking feeling, that Paya must have been involved in Zelda's disappearance.
Wow, that's a tough realization.
It is.
What does he do?
He confronts Paya. He demands to know what happened to Zelda.
Right.
And Paya, seeing that her carefully constructed facade is crumbling, she breaks down.
Oh, wow.
She admits everything.
Wow.
that she planned Zelda's disappearance to get rid of her.
This is a major turning point.
It is.
What's going through Link's mind right now?
Imagine, like, betrayal, anger, grief, all mixed together. He can't believe that Paya, someone he trusted, could do something so awful.
Right.
But beyond the anger, there's a deep sadness.
Mm-hmm.
He sees that Paya, driven by her obsession, has lost herself.
So she confesses.
Huh.
Does she show any regret?
At first, no. She actually seems, like, proud of what she did.
Really?
Yeah, she thinks that she's finally cleared the path for her and Link to be together.
That's delusional.
It is, completely. It's years of fantasy and a warped sense of reality. This is just so sad.
It is. And this is where the story gets even darker. Link, overwhelmed by Paya's confession and the realization that Zelda is really gone, he breaks down.
Oh, no.
He collapses, just sobbing.
Yeah.
And Paya, thinking his grief means he's ready to be with her, she tries to comfort him.
Oh, no.
But her touch, her words, they just push him away further.
He rejects her.
Yeah. Link, even in his grief, he still loves Zelda.
Right.
He can't imagine being with anyone else, especially after what Paya's done.
Right.
His rejection is like the final straw for Paya. She snaps.
And this is where the title comes in, right?
Yeah.
The Phantom of Kakariko.
Exactly. Paya, enraged and heartbroken, she makes a desperate, reckless choice.
Okay.
She grabs Zelda's secret stone of time and presses it to her forehead.
Oh, no.
The stone, full of ancient Sheikah magic, it reacts violently.
She transforms.
Yeah, it's a horrifying transformation, both physically and mentally.
Right.
Paya becomes like a twisted version of herself,
Right.
a monstrous phantom fueled by rage and despair. So the cottage becomes a battleground.
It does. She unleashes her newfound power on Link, determined to make him hers, even if it means destroying him.
This is where the action really explodes.
Right.
What's the fight like?
It's chaotic, brutal, and honestly terrifying. Paya, not in control anymore, summons this giant, disgusting gloom hand. It's like a creature of pure darkness.
Oh, wow.
And Link, even though he's weak from grief and the shock of Paya's betrayal, he has to fight for his life.
He's outmatched, isn't he?
He is. The cottage is destroyed in the fight, showing how strong Paya's become.
Right.
But he's no match for this monstrous force Paya's turned into.
So he's gonna die at the hands of the woman who loved him.
It seems like it. Link is beaten, barely hanging on.
Yeah.
And Paya, lost in her obsession, seems to enjoy his pain, thinking it'll somehow bring them closer.
This is so bleak. Is there any hope left for either of them?
As Paya's about to deliver the final blow, Link asks her a question that cuts through everything. Did she suffer?
He's asking about Zelda.
He is. Even as he's dying, he's thinking about her.
Wow.
And that simple question, so vulnerable, it hits Paya hard.
But it's too late.
Yeah,
Oh.
Tragically it is. The darkness has taken over Paya. She screams this mix of pain and denial and unleashes the full force of the gloom hand on Link.
Okay.
The attack is devastating.
Yeah.
It leaves him mortally wounded, dying.
So he dies. That's it.
Not quite. As Link loses consciousness, something unexpected happens.
Oh.
Remember how we bit the gloom hand's eye earlier?
Yeah, it seemed like a desperate, useless move.
It was, but it also triggered something in Paya.
Okay.
The bite, the symbol of resistance against the darkness, it creates a surge of energy.
Okay.
A shockwave that goes through the connection between Paya and the gloom hand.
The connection.
Yeah.
They're connected somehow.
They are. The gloom hand isn't just a monster, it's like a part of Paya, a manifestation of her twisted emotions.
Right.
So when Link bites it, he's hitting Paya herself. The energy from Link's bite makes the gloom hand explode, knocking them both unconscious. When Paya wakes up, she's in the ruins of her cottage. She's in pain, and next to her is Link, dead.
She killed the man she loved.
Yeah, it's a horrible realization. Paya, free from the stone's influence, she sees what she's done, all the destruction she's caused, the love she felt for Link, the thing that drove her to this. It led to his death. She's lost everything, her love, her friend, her sanity, even her home.
What a tragedy. What happens to her after this? Does she face any, consequences?
That's where the story leaves things a little open-ended.
Okay.
We're told that Paya disappears from Kakariko village. No one knows for sure what happened to her, but rumors start spreading.
She becomes a legend, a ghost story.
Exactly. The Phantom of Kakariko. Ramenko leaves it up to us to decide what happens to Paya.
Right.
And that's what makes the ending so haunting. It sticks with you, makes you think about the story's themes long after you're done reading.
Yeah, it's interesting that we don't get a definitive answer about what happens to Paya in the end. Makes it more tragic. This figure lost in the shadows, marked by what she did.
Mm-hmm.
But before we get to that, can we talk about what happens to Link right after that gloom hand explodes?
Mm-hmm.
We know he's badly hurt, but that's not the end of his story, is it?
It's not. This is where Ramenko throws in a twist that adds a whole other level to the story.
Okay.
As Link's, dying, he's taken to this, ethereal meadow. It's peaceful, bathed in this warm light, and there's Zelda waiting for him. That's the genius of this scene.
Yeah.
Ramenko never actually tells us if this reunion is real or if it's just, Link's dying thoughts.
Okay, yeah.
It's up to us to decide.
Oh, that's clever. It keeps us guessing until the very end.
Right.
And he dies.
He does, but there's, a peacefulness to it.
Okay.
He finds some closure, whether it's through actually seeing Zelda again or just in his own mind.
It's sad, but also kind of beautiful, and it really underscores that idea of love's power, even when faced with death and despair.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've talked about the plot, the twists, the ending. Let's get into the characters themselves, starting with Paya. Her change from, devoted friend to this obsessed phantom, it's what drives the whole story. Could you break down her character arc for us?
What's interesting about Paya is that she starts out as someone we can relate to. She's in love with someone who doesn't love her back. I mean, a lot of people have been there.
Right.
But what makes her story so captivating is that Ramenko shows us the dark side of that,
Yeah.
How unrequited love can become destructive if you don't deal with it.
Right. We see her struggling early on, those moments of jealousy towards Zelda.
Yeah.
But it's not until she finds that Sheikah ritual that her obsession really takes over.
Exactly. That's the turning point.
Yeah.
The ritual shows she's willing to do anything, to sacrifice anything, to get what she wants.
Right.
And once she starts down that path, there's no turning back.
And it's through those diary entries that we see her, mentally unraveling, right? Her thoughts becoming more and more unhinged, her grip on reality slipping away.
Those diary entries are so well done. They give us this window into her mind, her justifications for what she's doing, her twisted logic. It's unsettling, but also, you can't look away.
Yeah, it's a mix of pity and horror.
Totally.
Zelda, though, she has a more passive role in the story. She's almost like a symbol, right? Representing everything Paya wants.
Yeah, you're right. Zelda has all the things Paya longs for: beauty, grace, power. And most importantly, Link's love. She's this unattainable ideal.
Right.
And her existence just makes Paya's envy and resentment even stronger.
And Zelda's disappearance, it sets the whole tragedy in motion. It changes Link, too.
Absolutely. Link, trying to find Zelda, he becomes a shadow of who he was. He's consumed by guilt, thinking he failed to protect her. His search for answers blinds him to the danger right there.
Yeah, the darkness in Paya's heart.
Exactly.
It's ironic, right? His love for Zelda is both his strength and his weakness. It keeps him going, but it also makes him vulnerable to Paya.
And that goes back to what Ramenko's really exploring here, the complicated nature of love.
Yeah.
It can be amazing and powerful, but also destructive, capable of twisting even good intentions.
We see that in all the characters. Paya's love becomes obsession, Zelda's love causes Paya pain, and Link's love blinds him to the danger.
Exactly. And Ramenko doesn't give us easy answers.
Right.
The story ends with questions, moral complexities for us to think about.
Before we wrap up, can we touch on Ramenko's writing style? I was really struck by the descriptive language in the dialogue.
Oh, for sure.
Ramenko's amazing at creating these vivid, immersive scenes.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to transformation and emotional turmoil. Like when Paya emerges with the secret stone, it's both beautiful and terrifying. You can feel the magic changing her, inside and out.
Definitely.
And the dialogue is so sharp,
Yeah. Yeah.
It reveals character, moves the plot forward, adds these layers of meaning to simple conversations.
Like Paya's line at dinner, do you ever wish for something beyond duty and customs? Seems like a normal question, but knowing how she feels about Link, it takes on a whole new meaning.
Right, those little touches, those layers, that's what makes this story more than just fan fiction.
Yeah.
It sticks with you,
Absolutely.
It makes you think about the themes long after you're done reading.
The Phantom of Kakariko is about love, loss, obsession, the choices we make in tough spots. It stays with you, and that's what makes it great writing, I think.
So, like we always say, we want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on the Phantom of Kakariko? Did you see Paya's transformation coming? Do you think things could have ended differently? Share your thoughts and theories, and let's keep talking about it. So for anyone listening, if you're looking for a story that will challenge you, move you, and maybe even scare you a little, check out The Phantom of Kakariko. You won't regret it.